Oh, Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namaste. Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama. Pretty verse of Vaishnava Vicharadam Bhakya Kirtanam Pavanechaya Vipasya Kino Pavaram Samar Tesham Vicharatam Bhavyam
Tesham Vicharatam Bhavyam
Chaya
Kirtanam Pavanechaya
Rochita
Vinasyarim Roketa Bhavatam Tesham Vicharatam Bhavyam Tesham Kirtanam Pavanechaya Vitasya Kimna Rocheta Bhavatanam Samadhamah
Tejam Vicharatam
Tesham Vicharatam Bhavyam Tesham Vicharatam Bhavyam
Tesham with the desire to eat us. Person into a fearful in why not Rochita becomes easy. Tavaka voting. So meeting. Translation, dear Lord, your personal associates, devotees, wander all over the world to purify even the holy places of pilgrimage. Is not such activity pleasing to those who are actually afraid of the Purport, like you find devotees, one called Goshanandi, others called Vachanandi, and the word Vachanandi refers to devotees who do not move but remain precise. Such a devotee is always engaged in the growth of the Lord. He chants the Mahamantra as taught by Acharyas and those for preaching work. The Goshanandi is one who desires to increase the number of devotees in the world. He travels all over the world just to purify the people residing in it. Chaitanya is Nagaradi Ram Sarvatra Prachar Flavin. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted his followers to move all over the world, every town, village. In the Chaitanya Sampradaya, those who strictly follow the principles of Lord Chaitanya, which is the same as preaching the word of Krishna, the more the devotees preach the principles of Krishna, the more people will benefit. Devotees, like the great sage Narada, who travel all over to preach, are called Goshtana. Narada Muni is always wandering throughout the universe, just to create different types of devotees. Narada even made 100. He also made Dhruva Mahārāja and Purana. Actually, all devotees are indebted to the great sage Narada, for he has wandered both in heaven and hell. A devotee of the Lord is not even afraid of hell. He preaches the glories of the Lord everywhere. Hell because of no distinction between the Lord. Devotee Narayana Sarvena Kusarjana Svargapavara Naraki Apituliyanta. A pure devotee of Narayan is never afraid of going anywhere, everywhere, for in heaven and hell are one and the same. Such devotees wandering all over who are actually afraid of material existence. Some people are already disgusted with material existence, confused, frustrated by material enjoyment. Some people who are intelligent, or both may take advantage of the pure devotee wandering throughout the world. When a pure devotee goes to a place of pilgrimage, he desires to purify that holy place of pilgrimage. Many sinful men bathe in the holy waters. They take their baths in the water again. At places such as Prayag, Vrindavan, and Mathura. In this way, the sinful men are purified in their sinful actions. The actions remain a holy place of pilgrimage. When a devotee comes to take his bath at those places of pilgrimage, the sinful reactions left by the sinful men are neutralized by the devotee. Tirti Pravanti Tirtani Swantastena Vinavata. Because the devotee always carries the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, wherever he goes becomes a place of pilgrimage, a holy place for understanding the Supreme Personality of God. It is therefore the duty of everyone to associate with the pure devotee and thus obtain freedom from material contamination. Everyone should take advantage of the wandering devotees, whose only business is to deliver conditioned souls from material. So this is a verse in glorifying the devotees who are called Pavaka, which means they belong to you. So in other words, they belong to the Supreme Lord, which indicates that the Lord is very attached to them. One in the meaning of Bhagavan, one analysis is to analyze the syllables Bhagavan and Va. And so Va stands for sustaining the devotee from Artha. Ga means to Gamayata, to cause to attain. So the Lord makes the devotee go to the spiritual world, spiritual body. And Va means to last, to live. So the Lord lives in the devotee, and the devotee lives in the Lord. So the devotee lives in the Lord means that the Lord is always thinking of the devotee. And of course, the devotee lives. The Lord lives in the devotee means the devotee is always thinking of the Lord. So in other words, the Lord always thinks of his devotees as belonging to him, and he always wants to protect them, nourish them, and do anything for his devotees. So that's what we call Pamaka. So the Lord and the devotee are intimately related to each other, and some of these devotees are in the material world. And when they're in the material world, then they're always thinking of the Supreme Lord. And consequently, they're not attracted to this material world. Nevertheless, it is described here that they wander on their 2 feet to tirthas, holy places, with a desire to purify those places. They could go anywhere, but traditionally, of course, tirthas are considered very sacred. Everyone who's a devotee should go to tirthas. Normally go to tirthas to get purified. So you go to Mayapur or Vrindavan. And where you go to get purified, to get spiritual inspiration, etc. That's the normal purpose of a tirtha, because it's the place of the Supreme Lord, birthplace, place. If it has spiritual potency. So by the contact with that potency, the jiva who goes there gets some spiritual purification and inspiration. However, here something else is stated. The devotee does not go desiring to become purified. He goes with the desire to purify the place. So normally you're not going to Vrindavan to purify Vrindavan. Doesn't sound probable. But what that means is you're going to purify the place because, as Prabhupada mentions here, people leave all their sinful activities there or whatever. So they want to put that place in its proper position. Of course, the other reason they go there is to purify the people there. So this indicates the very generous nature of the devotees. They're not interested in their own benefits. They're interested in the benefit of other people. And so they purify the place so that other people benefit from that place. Or they go to the place to purify the people who come because they are impure. Of course, purification itself is on 2 levels. One level is to destroy your sinful reactions. Another is to destroy your sinful desires. That's the normal idea of purification. So people do that in order to release themselves from suffering. However, that in itself is not sufficient to get the final result. With the desire for purification, we can destroy our karma. The result of that is we can get liberation from karma, from karmas. But as we know from Bhagavatam, the devotees don't even desire that. The devotees simply desire to serve the Lord and please the Lord. That's their desire. So that's a higher desire. So we can call that also a type of purification. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks of our material contamination in its broadest sense as kama or lust. So that's not purely sexual enjoyment, but desire to enjoy for oneself with one's material senses in the material world, which covers everything like this. So this is an aspect of a human being which keeps us bound to this material world. So, of course, intelligent people will say, let us destroy this karma. How do we destroy karma? Karma arises from ignorance. So we have to destroy ignorance. How do we destroy ignorance? We destroy ignorance by knowledge. Simple. So this is the process of Jnana Yoga. If we practice Jnana Yoga, we get knowledge, we destroy ignorance, consequently we destroy karma, and we end birth and death and karma material and all suffering. But we also know that that's not the ultimate goal according to the ultimate was friends. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, says the process of bhakti is not just to destroy karma, but rather to transform karma, the desire for enjoyment for ourselves in this material world is transformed into a desire to please Krishna in the spiritual world. That means prayer. So the process of bhakti is a process of transforming karma into prema. It is not just to destroy karma, it is to transform it into prema. For the Jnani and the Yogi, the goal is to destroy karma, finish. And for the devotee, it's to take that karma and transform it. So what this means is that the jiva has his own nature, or the swarup, and we're not attempting to destroy that swarup, but we have to change certain aspects of his soul. So the jiva has consciousness, ability to act, that's a personal identity. And these are things which are this constitutional part of the jiva. And along with that, the jiva, in identifying, he develops some desire because he is conscious and he becomes aware of things. So he has to have some desires for something, and then he acts to get those things. And of course, in the material world, we get a body, for action, we get objects, and we enjoy the material enjoyment. That stems from the propensity of the jiva to experience bliss through some sort of enjoyment. But this enjoyment in the material world is faulty, and we end up suffering. Because it's actually enjoyment using material interactions. So the process of bhakti is to take that same desire of jiva and redirect it away from our body and ourselves and redirect it to Krishna. So the jiva directs himself to the Supreme Lord, and not with the desire to enjoy, but with the desire to give enjoyment. So this is taking karma and transforming it into prema. So we don't eradicate desire in the jiva. We simply redirect it. And in this way, the jiva gets satisfaction and bliss. So prema gives rise to rasa, and rasa gives rise to bliss. And then the jiva is completely happy. So the bliss can only arise by relationship with the Supreme Lord and the relationship with one of affection. And what does affection mean? A desire to please. A desire to please, object of affection, without desire to get pleasure for itself. So this is pure prema. So this is the goal of the process of bhakti. So we don't eradicate desire in the jiva, rather we cultivate a desire. And therefore the definition of bhakti is Krishna Anusila. We're cultivating a favorable relationship with Krishna. So this is the solution to this problem in the material world. We'll see that kama and prema and many are similar. But the big difference is, in the material world, there is no Krishna, not the center. Prema, Supreme Lord, is always the object for the jiva. Second, in the material world, we have other objects of our kama, our love or desire. And even if it is other people, we love other people. That love actually is not a desire to please the other person, it's desire to please yourself, primarily. In relation to the Supreme Lord, that has to be given up completely. And in place of that, we got simply desire to please the Lord. So that's the big difference in how the affection operates. So this, of course, you can ask, well, how can we trust Supreme Lord and give everything to Him, not expect anything for ourselves? But that's the definition of the Lord. He is perfect, and He gives perfect response to everything. And the only thing we have to do is have trust and faith. If we have faith in the existence of that Supreme Lord, who is perfectly responsive, perfect in all ways, then we can perform the process of life. And we can practice this unconditional love. In the beginning, it is not perfect, so that's why we distinguish our bhakti from that of the great devotees like Narada, whatever. We call our process sadhana practice. It is technically not pure because we're still somewhat deficient. But at least we understand what that goal is. When we understand the goal, we can attain it. If we don't even understand the goal, what is the whole of it? So first we define that pure goal of unconditional love, and then we do a practice now to get that. So we don't have a unconditional love now, but we have a process to get there. So that process is called sadhana. So we're not perfect, but we're practicing to reach that perfect stage of unconditional love. And it's a practice because we start out with lots of material attachments, lots of material conceptions. And it's only by the practice of bhakti itself that all these practices. But if we concentrate on the goal, practice that pure bhakti, and then we can attain that goal. This is the Supreme Lord itself. So this is the condition of devotees. And it is a final solution to everything. Now, how is it a final solution? Because this is what it's taken. In this Purport, Prabhupada mentions that the devotees, what do? They're preaching the same message, that of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So whatever is mentioned there is the conclusion of all scriptures. It is the highest goal and the highest method to get there. So we follow that. And we preach Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to all people in the world, and that way we save everyone. So that's the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, save everybody in this material world, not by killing the demons, whatever, but by non-sankirtan, spreading the name of the Lord everywhere, and giving Bhagavad Gita. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna.
Mention the jhanas, their purpose is just to. So what's the
Buddhists, yes. The only difference is what happens if you remove all the karma. So for the Jnani, the yogi will remain his Brahman. For the Buddhist will remain his nothing. No Brahman. I think they call it nothing. Or some will actually that it soon. Absence of the material world was quite negative. The actual goal is the material world, that is nirvana, being the material. So nirvana. So of course, they both are attempting simply to negate the illusion of this world by knowledge of the civil. What exists after that left? Would say Brahman, would say nothing.
Explain about Rama and what Ramachandra is.
I did it last night. I do it now.
Ah,
So for the Buddhist in aesthetic view, or they can achieve non-existence. So they think
What would actually happen?
yeah, what
This is debatable by different persons. Of course, those who follow the Vedas don't really pursue this kind of much because they don't follow the Vedas, so they don't really debating whether what they're saying is true or not. It's all nonsense. But we can even raise the same arguments against impersonal, so that particular Mayavad person. There are impersonalists who follow the Vedas who are not Mayavadis are the followers. School here. And we established the reform of impersonalism, which denies the existence of the world and their own illusion, only promises. So it is like Buddhism in a sense. It's also denying the existence of the world. Only difference is nothing exists. It's a promises. And he gives reference to Upanishads, which say the Brahman of the ultimate one. So this way he establishes this philosophy, which is by many Vaishnavas covered negating the world and just maintaining a Brahman. So very simple. Of course, all the Vaishnava acharyas have later see all the arguments. This arguments basically come from the scriptures themselves. And in the Bible, not like that. I love this. You describing the same words, scriptures, go back and forth. Those endless arguments back and forth. However, in this process, we do have logical arguments as well. So, like, people say that even this concept of a supreme conscious entity with no form, no quality, cannot exist. Consciousness itself, if something is conscious, it should be conscious of something. Otherwise, what is it? Of course, they call it Shinmatra, consciousness itself, that's it. But it's not aware of it. But if something exists, it is equivalent to not being conscious at all because there's nothing to be conscious of. So therefore, this is a false argument. So we get some logical arguments also, as well as scriptural. In this way, that whole question, whether that Brahmana will follow is real logical. So, in the Brahma Sutra itself, there are arguments against 4 different types of Buddhism. So, what science, a lot of Buddhist theories of the illusion of power. In the Brahma Sutra, there's arguments to defeat those conceptions based upon logic. So therefore, in general, we could say those probable Vedas will not accept the Buddhist conception at all, and the Vaishnavas will not accept Shankaracharya's probable conception.
A question not in relation to today's class. I just wanted to know what's the difference between Yoga Maya, Purnamasi, and Vrindadev.
Oh, well, Yoga Maya, of course, means a spiritual, illusory energy. So we have Maya in the material world, called Mahārāja. This is the avidya, or whatever, product of the material world, which make a lot of mistakes. I think one thing is that's material Maya, and this is the cause of our material mistakes. In the spiritual world, it's full of knowledge, full of knowledge, but some of the knowledge must be covered up in order to perform pastimes. So everybody knows everything about everything, that nothing can happen. We wake up in the morning, so we did that already 20 million times before. Yeah, today. Everyone knows what everyone else is thinking, so then there's no suspense. That question, you know the answers. So that doesn't make any sense. If you have pastime there, you find that there's pastime, Radha, Gopi, outer boys. They're very excited to go out and kids or whatever. So how is that possible? So all of this is, we can say, blocking certain aspects of spiritualism, so that there is a development of pastimes possible. So therefore, everyone limits their awareness to a certain degree, and then certain things are completely eliminated. So therefore, those in Vatsalya Rasa are never aware of Gaudiya Rasa. How is it possible? Yoga Maya. So, like these things are divided up spiritual world for perception necessary for certain. That's called Yoga Maya. So, in some of the scriptures, it is mentioned that this Yoga Maya is Purnamasi, the correct state. So there's no controversy with that. Sometimes people mention Subhagra, but I've never seen it directly mentioned in scriptures. And as for Tulsi, it's Tulsi the same as Purnamasi. No, she's a different character actually. And we have Tulsi Manjari. We have Purnamasi, who's actually an elder. She's a very old lady, great. But she's the one that makes, hides the pastimes, the gopis from others, whatever like that, and arranges for the meetings of Radha Krishna, things like that. So she arranges, let's say, how to arrange the pastimes. Now, to help her, we do have Vrindadevi, who is younger. So Vrindadevi definitely does do a lot of the work, because she's another gopi, just like Bali and Shankara. So they'll get together and they'll go to Vrindadevi to help us, make a new flower for Krishna, supply all the ingredients so we can have holy festivals, give us all the ingredients and the dyes, flowers. So then Vrinda Devi makes all the arrangements for that. So Vrinda Devi, you can say, is very much like Varanasi in a sense. Tulsi, of course, generally we equate Vrinda and Tulsi together, but in the scriptures, you don't see her playing that same role as Vrinda Devi. Maybe it's a distinction there. Not quite made clear by our Goswami also. She's never given the same role.
Thank you, ma'am. So Purnamasi is like a personification of Yama.
Yeah.
What's the difference between gopis and gopis?
Well, the Manjaris have the gopis are the main sakhis. They directly relate with Krishna and have personal Gaudiya rasa relationships with Krishna. Manjaris take a very secondary role and simply serve Rama. So they never take the role of enjoying Krishna directly. They're like the servants of them. So we can say that it's like servants. It's like kind of a dust attitude, but actually included within Madhurya Rasa because they relish Madhurya Rasa through the experience of Radha. So that is considered the ideal attitude for one aspiring in the material world to develop a similar mood as the gopis without activity.
What's the familiar relationship for Navami to Krishna?
Oh no. I think she's related to some sister or something. Or some funny word. She doesn't belong to Vrindavan. She appeared there later on. She's not that.
Whenever Bhagavan incarnated or descended, he's a Purna Avatar. Then why we say that Ram is a human?
When we say the Lord comes as a human, we don't actually mean he gets human in the sense that a material body, the gaze gets open. It's human-like. In other words, Rama has a form with not 4 arms, 2 arms. He looks very much like a king, whatever, maybe slightly bigger than us. And we say Krishna also is human-like, or human avatar, whatever, because he's also human form. So both are of that nature. We have others who are quite different, like Brahma, obviously, looking different form. And we have Srimati, half human, half divine. And then we get human forms like Vamana, who are smaller, more form. So, of all the different forms, then some are human-like, and prominent ones, Rama, Krishna, and Balaram are human-like. Of course, we have stages like Vasudeva, also less strong. So, among the main avatars, Rama and Krishna are very prominent. They're also that human form. So that human form invokes more intimacy when we worship those forms, because if we have other forms, and foreign and Vishnu forms, we understand it is more immediate purpose. When we see that human-like form, we get a more intimate relationship. However, with Ramachandra, that reverence still continues to some degree. With Krishna and Purnam, but therefore, worship this Brahman gives rise to love and rasa.
So they are leaders like you said that Krishna leaders that are ever going on like every time. Sake, the Ram is already like.
Oh yeah. All the forms have eternal pastimes. They have eternal forms. They have eternal planets or places, and they have eternal beings. All that, nothing is temporary. Okay, fine. Hare Krishna.